Ryan, if given the chance, would you rather go 35 years back into your past to you as a kid or 35 years to see you as an older gentleman in the future?
Oh boy, I'm gonna go with older gentleman in the future. I don't think anything good comes from heading backwards, particularly when humans are concerned. So, although I wouldn't mind going back to like Jurassic, era, see some dinosaurs, anything that predated humans. But yeah, I would love to see 35 years in the future, though. That I could deal with.
You get to see your kids 35 years in the future.
I do. I get to see my kids 35 years in the future, and that right there is terrifying in and of itself, I think, right? All that
Maybe.
expectation suddenly, yeah.
Yeah, I bet. I want to ask you something about the film. There's the lines and the laughs are all there, the action, the nostalgia, and everything. But you deal with some. You really go there with some really powerful themes: fathers and sons, and the really vulnerable place of the loss of a parent. And fans may not know that you lost your father. And I was curious in making this film, that personal piece for you, and that vulnerability that it can bring up when you're processing, when you're writing, and when you're acting this role.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, look, Jonathan Tropper is the writer of the movie. He did an amazing job at giving us everything to work with. I took a big pass on the script myself, just because that's typically how I work on the movies I produce, but also it really like helps personalize it for me. So much of what the character is experiencing were things that I've experienced in my life. I mean, I had stories about my father. I'd kind of mythologized my father in my mind as, one thing to sort of account for some of my own deficits or my own sort of, character flaws or whatever you want to call it. But he was a big part of that story. And I realized as I got older that, I had to kind of ask myself, is that true? Like, is that actually true about my father? Was he this, that, and the other thing? Or was there more? Was there more nuance there? Was there more? And of course there was. Like, of course there was so much more there. And I was lucky to have the opportunity to say goodbye to my father right before he passed. Most people, I realize, don't get to do that. I did get some closure there, but this movie really tackles some of that idea. We have a tendency to sort of look at our parents as parents and not people.
Mm.
And that somewhere in between supervillain and somewhere in between superhero are our parents, our mothers and our fathers, and they are people that are just doing the best they can with what they have. And my father was certainly no exception to that. And so in a way, yeah, this movie is a giant spectacle-driven wish fulfillment type of film, but that's a Trojan horse, which is delivering or smuggling in this love letter to parents that I think is a story that I really wanted to tell. I know it's a story that Sean really wanted to tell. I mean, we'd been looking for this kind of idea for about 2 years.
Mm.
And it just kind of weirdly fell in our lap, like we had some vision board or something. Suddenly we just got this concept and we ran with it. And we just feel so lucky that we got to tell the story. I mean, more also because original movies like this aren't made that often anymore. We
Yeah.
have it twice. We got it with Free Guy and we got it with Adam Project, and we're really lucky and proud that we get to tell these stories.
Without giving too much away, there is some scenes at the end where, I laughed a lot in this movie, but I'm telling you, whoosh, towards
Yeah.
the end, there's the words that Mark Ruffalo says to your character. I don't know that there's not a man on the planet that wouldn't want to have that said to them by a father or a father figure. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
What were those final scenes like for the cast and for the crew? I mean, did you guys feel emotional as well? Because they feel emotional.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of that sequence, Mark was just off script. He was
Wow.
just going, and I get goosebumps right now even thinking about it. We started to rehearse it, and Sean, very wisely, which is why I love him so much, just stopped the rehearsal immediately, set up the cameras, set up the lights as quickly as he could. I mean, I'm not making this up, 10 minutes we had the whole room lit and ready to shoot,
Wow.
and just said, now rehearse. And he just rolled the cameras. And it was just one of those things that was like lightning in a bottle. I think we did 2
Wow.
takes of it. We used the first take is in the movie.
Wow.
And yeah, it's really Mark just says things that, I mean, I don't mean to lay my heart on the line like this, but he said things that I wished my dad had said to me. I mean, I wish that I'd had that opportunity to say to him as well. And wow, it punched me right in the old ticker.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are those moments that it's not really acting, it's just listening. And it, is pretty powerful.
Right. Quickly before we go, I want to ask you about the group effort initiative. You welcomed some of the members on set, which is amazing to see, and I bet they learned a ton from you. But what did you take away from them?
Oh, just, it really reaffirmed this kind of gamble that it's not a gamble, but like at the beginning of this project, it was a lot to convince not just a studio, but a union that we could do this, that we could sort of buck the norm. And boy, did they make this idea look like a really smart idea. Because in its initial concept and design, it wasn't about like, oh, we're gonna, bring on trainees, we're gonna pay them full boat, we're gonna, put them up, they're gonna be just like any other crew member. But it was a little bit about that, but it was also that there's so much untapped talent out there. There are geniuses out there and craftspeople that like, truly create magic that have been totally overlooked by a system. And in doing this, we're going to tell better stories. I mean, when you diversify your points of view, you tell better stories. It ends up on the screen, quite literally on the screen. And these jobs behind the camera are enormous career opportunities that so many people have been excluded from and discriminated against to a certain degree. But we're talking across the board, though. It's not just a BIPOC initiative. I mean, we're also talking about people who were previously incarcerated we're folding into this program, and it's just I just love that it's proving the program quite right. In that it's a success. It's grown. It's being adopted by other studios. It's being adopted by other production companies. We're moving into other categories like marketing, which I'm really excited about. And it's making these industries better. So that's the thing that I was really blown away by, is that how quickly that happened, and how quickly the crews around the GEI trainees embraced the concept of this and like really understood the idea and how pivotal and important mentorship is.
And the bridge, right? Connecting the two. Sometimes they just need someone to be the bridge.
Well, 100%. And the film industry, it's an amazing industry because it creates generational wealth. I mean, these are long-term careers. People own homes. They pass those homes on to their children. I mean, that's one of the ways you would define generational wealth. But it's like, it's just so fascinating to me to see how much better it makes everything, how much better the storytelling, the level of storytelling and expertise is upped. It's just, it's been really, really special. I'm really proud of the whole gang. And there's not, believe me, it's not just me. There is an army of people that work to make this initiative a success, and not the least of which are the candidates and trainees themselves. They've really stepped up in ways that I'm pretty blown away by.
Ryan, one of the things that we love about you back here in Canada is that you make it easy to be better because you just do it. Thanks for today.
Oh, thank you. I will try not to disappoint you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.